Hello. Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. I'm sitting on 2 hours sleep. And I think I got a bit of a cold as well. It's all just a little bit sad, isn't it? Trust me. Nah, it's vibey. Don't be silly with that at all. So, essentially, what's going on right now, in terms of, I'm FUT Champions, the big weekend's arrived. I've said to the board of directors, I'm going to get you this Elite 1. And it's not going to plan. And the reason is that I was just feeling a bit tired at the time. And I was just like, Benji, take the wheel, lad. And he's been involved. So he's been essentially the manager for this weekend. And, as expected, it's kind of gone down the pan, which is quite sad. But it's also kind of jokes. There's actually a quote that I saw by Arsene Wenger. And it was like he kind of takes pride in seeing other managers suffer, like he had to suffer, because it really, that's the job of a manager at times, is really just suffering through it. I've had some times where my players aren't playing for me, and I want them gone. That's why I hired Shannon and Cannon Briggs. Just have a little go. As if the mic's actually cut out again. Mate, it's getting a bit scary. I actually almost just fell asleep then. I'm not going to lie, I kind of just sat back in my lumbar support for a second there. And it was speaking to me. It was tempting me. It was like, lads, you've done enough. You've fought hard enough for this club. Just, go to sleep. Have a nice little nap. But I can't be doing nothing like that, man. Man's got to switch up a sleeping pattern. I've literally gone from waking up at 4 p.m. to waking up at 6 a.m. today. That's a little bit scary, man. Like, that's actually a little bit scary. So, Marcus Rashford, what's he saying? I think this is when Benji really started to cry. So I've done him a favour, lad. What I've done is I bought him a couple of tissues and he really needed it for this game. I think especially that little turn there. It's just he's done him there. And I think this is when I passed it over and you could hear him crying already. I haven't seen Benji cry this side. I've seen him cry before because he's obviously, bronze player and he has to put up with a lot of rough times, a lot of tough times. And that is FUT Champions, it's not made for everyone, Not everyone is cut out for FUT Champions. And I think it was quite clear early on that Benji isn't a lad for the job. And he was crying. And the thing is I just found it funny. And, it's a little bit awkward when, you've got your mate crying to the left of you or whatever. And he's crying away and I'm just trying not to laugh. And I actually started laughing and he started crying even more. And then, it's just a bit rough, isn't it? Like proper crying. So, another game. Looks like another loss here. Yeah, it looks like another loss. And once again, I'm laughing. It's lucky I was able this time to sit in the board of directors office. So, I was actually able to sit with Lego Padme. I actually sat down next to Lego Padme. We had a nice little drink of a fruit shoot. We had like a strawberry flavoured fruit shoot. And I think it's just, the drinks were pouring type thing. Really just getting the pack of 12 down us or whatever. And before you know it, it's a hell of a time. And it was much warmer as well. Because I've noticed the FUT Champ Stadium is awful conditions. I haven't really kind of spoken about it. Clearly, kind of the conditions out there in the stadium is freezing. It's like the air conditioning's been turned on. And I don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with, in order to get the CGI working properly, they need to lower the temperature or some rubbish. It just sounds really weird. I don't know what they're on about, but I got into this board of directors kind of royal box, and it was nice and cozy in there. Yeah, nice and warm. Sat next to Lego Padme. With the prototype chairs, you just kind of sat there screaming, man. And then I went down to Benji at half-time, and I see him suffering. And look at this. 5-3. I had to sit with him down here wearing a coat because I was freezing. And Benji was he was going hysterical. There's kind of two types of anger. There's obviously, crying. And then there's just full on screaming. He was screaming at the players. And then he suddenly got really happy. because I've told little Socrates or whatever, just have a go, have some fight. I've whispered in his ear, just have a bit of grit, and he went for it. Although he's missed that penalty. Yeah, that's massive, man. And Benji hands in his head there, but Zaha coming through. My goodness me. At this point, I think I was tucking into a hot diggity dog. So we did a deal kind of recently with Mickey Mouse, and we managed to get, like, I think in his intro of Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse, he had like these hot diggity dogs. And we've managed to get this big kind of licensing deal where we've recently kind of had a massive delivery of these hot dogs. And I've just been munching away. Yeah, man's just been munching away. And it was lucky they had it in the Royal Box and the board of directors. And I'm actually, you know, I'm happy to go up there. And a couple of the board of directors lads in there were kind of saying, like, aren't you supposed to be managing your team? You know, I thought you were the manager of the team. I thought you meant to be kind of in amongst it and kind of shouting tactics at them and all the rest of it. I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to tell them that Benji Backhouse was taking the whole weekend and all the rest of it. So, I just had to say, I've got like a little wireless communication with the chaps. And I had to keep going on my phone, but I was actually just playing a bit of Clash of Clans. Yeah, a bit of Clash of Clans. And that's the thing, is that Nicholas Breslin was attacking my castle. What are you doing, you fraud? He's attacking my castle. You can't be doing that. In fact, he's attacking it now. Get out. He's attacking. Well, somebody get this kid out. I'm not happy with Nicholas Breslin at all. He's actually taking down my castle. Joking, don't even have the app installed. In fact, probably wouldn't even touch that game. I swear it's pay to win. Reminds me of something. Nonetheless, Raheem Sterling, though. He goes for the bang. And at this point, this was actually kind of jokes. I mean, I actually wasn't even watching this game because I was fast asleep. I was fast asleep. Literally, once again in the Royal Box, they had these just really lovely kind of lumbar support seats. So it would just, if you can imagine now, if you were to like close your eyes and imagine these lumbar support seats, but just kind of drop back. And then they turn into a bed and you just kind of sat there with like Minecraft music that's playing in the board of directors kind of Royal Box. And you can tuck into some little Walker's Crisps, hand delivered by Gary Lineker. And you're just laughing, man. Having a little snooze. Whilst Benji Backhouse is down here stressing. He's out here screaming. And the thing is that I felt like he tried every single tactic in the book. You know, fair enough, he was trying. You know, like I say, like, he's not a good manager. Like, it is quite clear he's not a good manager. In fact, he's quite awful. I'll say that live on air quite happily. But at least he's shown a bit of grip. Like, he tried about 20 different formations, none of which were working. And this goal goes in. And I think in his spare time he's been doing archery. And he got a little bow and arrow out. And he just started, like, shooting shots up in the air. And just seeing if it landed on anyone. And I'll tell you, it was about a centimetre away from landing pretty much on Martial's head here. And you can see he kind of ducks out the way as he saw there with his celebration. He was like, oh, lads. So B Backhouse almost taking somebody down. You know, so a little bit dangerous here. A little bit dangerous from Benji Backhouse. And it's just lucky that nobody actually saw that apart from me. I think he basically just said to me after the game, like, I'm losing my head here, lad. I need you to fill in. Like, genuinely, he just kind of took me aside and he looked at it quite sad. Really quite sad. And he just said to me, like, lads, I'm drained. And he started coughing. He started doing, like, fake coughs. And he's just like, lad, take the job. I've had it, lad. And then he, like, fell over. He fell over for some reason. And then all of a sudden, a figure emerges from behind him. I think it was Andrea Pirlo. And he was like, don't worry, lads. I'm here for you. And I was like, what on earth? Pirlo? What's he doing here? My guy Pirlo. You know, one of my favourite players of all time. And he's kind of sat there picking up Benji. And Benji, he seemed to just instantly feel a lot better about himself. He's like, oh my God, Pirlo. And I was like, oh my days, you're right, it is Pirlo. And then I woke up. And there I'm sat in the board of directors' office or whatever still. Or in the royal box, rather. Just woke up from the lumber support. Just watching Benji get slapped up. And we were all laughing. The funny thing is, the board of directors were laughing, going, what a pathetic manager you are, Morgan. And I was kind of laughing with them. And some of them were getting a bit suspicious. Like, what on earth? Why is he not taking that to heart? And, well, you know, it's all Backhouse's fault. And I think there is going to be a lot of shouts for Backhouse out if the news comes out that, you know, this is Benji's fault. But other than on the Lego Padme FC media channel, you know, what I'm doing here, I don't really intend to leak the news anywhere. I haven't really spoken to the press. I've had to be careful. Although Benji has spoken to the press himself, but he's kind of pretended to be an assistant manager. He's not actually said that he is the manager. So he's kind of sent him for a hot diggity dog. And speaking of hot diggity dogs, I was literally tucking into that Mickey Mouse hot diggity dog right now. And I tell you what, it's looking nice. But I tell you something that isn't looking nice. The record. 17. Actually, to be fair, 17-3 is actually not bad. You know, fair enough. To a lad that finishes bronze, he's got something out of his players. And I think, hang on. Delaney getting a red card. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This is when literally Benji Backhouse, he gets on his little bike and he starts riding. He literally started chasing after Delaney on his bike because Delaney refused to go off the pitch. And he started like running away and Benji couldn't catch him and fell over and like proper bashed himself and everything. He started crying. And then he picks himself up, goes to the sideline and gets a little foldable bike. He unfolds it. We're all in hysterics watching on. He was literally, he was getting his little bike and just pedaling after Delaney. Does a wheelie, hits him in the back of the head. Delaney goes down. And then he starts spinning his tyre on his head and stuff. And it was getting like a bit kind of ruthless, a bit scary from Backhouse actually. And then I think Socrates knew exactly how to kind of defuse him. He just kind of took the chain off. And Benji was like, oh no, not the chain. Because he really hates like the oil and stuff that's on the chain. He really is kind of scared of it. And he had to do it. He had to take the, he had to put the chain back on. And then he had to like wash his hands. But he was like super paranoid thinking it wouldn't like come off his hands. So he was washing his hands for like the next 50 minutes or something like that. Or the next hour. It's kind of peak. But not as peak as this. So while we was washing his hands, they just concede. Oh my days. I mean, it's pathetic. And I think it's ultimately come down to the fact that Backhouse, like I say, just isn't up for it. He's not motivated to players at all. He's been getting them playing games like playing FIFA and stuff. And, like I say, Nintendo DS Mario Kart, and he was losing on there. And some of the players are turning against him. Because Benji just rages when he lost on, I think when he lost on Rainbow Road and he kept falling off the track. And he got really mad and lobbed his Wii remote and it's hit Jordi Alba dead in the head. And it's, you know, it's got him a bit mad. It's got him a bit mad. And for some reason, the players, almost from that grit, I think from that anger of what happened to Jordi Alba, they've just decided to fight back. Not for the manager, but just for themselves. Not even for the club either. Some of them were kind of saying to the press, we don't like Lego Padme, which I was furious with. And I wanted them all gone after saying that. But the board of directors kind of did that little hand gesture. Just kind of like, hold it back, lad. Relax there, lad. You can't be getting rid of these chaps just yet. We kind of need them low-key. You know, the transfer market's not open. And I was thinking, yes, it is, lad. I can hit up Jabba in a second. But, you know, I couldn't tell him nothing like that. Because that's all low-key dealings. So, we got a shipment in. And this was kind of mediocre players coming in. A lot of them did go straight to the incinerator. And Benji had to be the one to do it. And he wasn't as... Like for example, like I was saying, when I send a lot of these players off that come in the shipments that aren't good enough, I just ignore them. But Benji kind of felt that guilt when he was getting rid of these players. They're like, please, Benji, please keep me. I've fought so hard to get in this little shipment, please. And then Benji was like, he just kind of said to him, like, lads, I'm really sorry, as he, like, pressed a little button. He was like, I'm sorry, lads. And he let some of them out. And let them into the club, and then he just incinerated the rest of them. So, I think Benji, perhaps not quite ruthless enough. You know, perhaps not quite ruthless enough. And I think, you know, B Backhouse, he'll look back at this, and he'll just think, what a pathetic manager I am. Joking, nah. I think he'll be quite proud of himself, you know, for getting something above bronze. He's actually done pretty well. Like, he's done pretty well. Like, he actually has fought for Lego Padme. You know, he's always been a big admirer of Lego Padme, but he doesn't like to see people dancing on him like that. Nah, he doesn't. He doesn't. And the thing is that Benji's kind of, he loves to dance himself, and he's seen that routine, and he was trying to, I think he was speaking to the players after, trying to correct their dances. He was actually putting a lot more effort into kind of correcting their posture and trying to get the dance routine correct for those players that just did that dance, rather than focusing on, you know, the team, you know, the more important matters. He wasn't even saying anything to the team in terms of what you should change, because as far as I was aware, I kind of said to him, like, I don't think half of these players aren't going to be here after this weekend. I'll tell you out for fun. They've had it. So, you know, he's kind of, I think that he's taken that in mind, and he stopped giving feedback altogether. It's almost like, you know, getting a really bad grade in your test, and then you ask the teacher, like, why do I get a bad grade? And they just kind of turn a blind eye. And that's what Benji Backhouse has done. He doesn't care. Little Andy Tate type vibe. So, Jordi Alba going down this left side. Give it to your boy Lionel Messi. And this is when the players, like I say, like, they weren't playing for the manager at all. They were just fighting for themselves. And, you know, that could be good. It helps the players to gel. But, you know, what's the point in gelling the players if, like I say, if they're not even going to stay? Because at this point, we are going into mediocre territory. This is down with, you know, the bottom type clubs. And I think Benji Backhouse, if anyone's going to make us a mediocre club, that is kind of his, you know, he's got that on his CV. So I don't think there's too much surprise there, but you know, it's happened now and there. Like, you can cry about it all day, like Benji has been. He's been crying all day, messaging me like, I'm sorry, lad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for nothing to happen like that and all of that. But it's been and gone. It's been and gone. That's what I said to him. Been and gone. It's peak. So, I mean, the teams keep coming in. They keep coming in, and they just keep arriving. And now you can see the players. I think that's I think some of the commentators were saying, like, oh, it's a mistake. That's mutiny, mate. It's quite clear at this point in time that the players aren't playing for the badge at all. Well, they're not playing for anything. They're not even playing for each other anymore. They don't care. They want Lego Padme gone. They want her gone. Look at that. Xavi falling over. Xavi falling over. Like, it's just, it's a calamity. And I can't make any excuses now. Because we're getting ding dong ditched. And I'll tell you what. I don't even know how I've literally been speaking for this long without falling asleep. It's actually mad. I'm running on empty here. I'm not even going to lie. The Lego Padme FC media channel really making me work. They're really making me work. Senator Amidala. She said to me, it's time. And I said, what do you mean? I was a bit confused by that. It was a very kind of bold statement. I was just like, what do you mean? And she was like, it's time to go. And we sent them off. We sent them off. So pretty much, you know, Xavi, a club legend, gone. Now, I didn't think I'd see the day that I'd freeze him back up in carbonite and send him back to Jubba. And Jubba was a bit surprised when I wheeled him in. He was like, oh, you sent him back Xavi. I thought you were a big fan of the boy. But I told him, I don't need these icons. I've already got one. My guy Julian Brandt. And he's back in the team. And the fans were screaming again. And this was all my decision. And I actually stepped in as manager for a couple games. I wanted Julian Brandt in the team again, man. He is a club legend. He is the best player at the club. Julian Brandt getting involved early. And he's loving life. Look at that. Straight away he gets a goal in his first game. Mertens. Getting the ball around. What are we saying? Go on, Insigne. I see what you're saying. Mbirchy. Look at this. Falls for the boy, Julian Brandt. Mate, I actually was screaming. When this went in. When that goal went in. And he was doing that little dance. My goodness me, man. I was actually screaming. I was absolutely screaming. In fact, this is the first time in a long time that I had to bring back the designated screamer. The lads are sitting on that megaphone. And he screamed his lungs out. He was like, Julian Brandt, my guy. He screamed. He really did. And Benji Backhouse obviously sat in the chair. He was enjoying a lumbar support chair as well. But he had like a pillow that was a brand new kind of pillow that would morph to your back shape and everything like that. And he was screaming. And I think he was really starting to enjoy the life of just sitting there doing nothing. Which I think would have been better for him and for the club in the first place. And I'll tell you what though. As manager now I'm stressing. I kind of wish that I could just sit back. But now I'm having to take the wheel. It's my shift. It's my time. And we go 1-0 down against this lad who's... You know, this team was very intent on shutting the shop up. Like shutting up shop nice and early. Trying to take the 1-0. Mertens fires it home. My goodness me. Lozano. Julian Brandt getting involved. What's he saying? What a pick out. Oh my days. Lozano, have a go. That's lovely. Yeah. That just makes me fully want to sit back on my chair now. My goodness me. Zaha. What's he saying? Bang. Yeah, no, so, I mean, that was nice. That was nice. Now, you know, it's good to see a smile on Benji's face for once, because he was, like I say, he was going through dark times. It's good to see him actually laughing again. It's good to see him back in amongst it. And it essentially ends up going down to the final game. And I was too scared for this, and I was too tired, just like I am now, really. And what I decided to do in this case was just sleep once again. And I put Benji in. And Benji was scared. He was shook. He was so shook. And he needed Nicholas Breslin to help him out in this game. So Nicholas Breslin has ran onto the field. I don't know how he managed it. Because he hurt his knee the other day. And he was sprinting on and his knees buckled. And he's literally fell over. And... It really hurt him. I could see it. He was really kind of in anguish. He was struggling. He started like rolling around and stuff, and he's rolled himself into a little ball, and it was quite funny. It was quite funny, and I was focusing so much on that, and I think Benji was as well, that nobody was even looking at the game. And you know, we got back in the game. Nobody was even celebrating. Because we're just watching Nick now just doing dances and stuff. He was doing like a little dance. Yeah, he was just kind of screaming. And all of a sudden we're 3-2 down once more after a comeback. And it's just a calamity. The players. And now Nicholas Breslin's crying as well. Everyone's crying. I'm just sat there sleeping. And Mbappe through. I mean, this is just sad. It's sad. Really, really sad times. I think I opened my eyes for a bit and saw this. And I was just like, yeah, back to sleep. It's actually such a vibe. I was literally like, yeah, back to sleep we go. I think we're playing the 4-2-3-1. Benji set us up in a 4-2-3-1. And then they refused to play it. And they went to a 4-3-3. And then he absolutely forced them in the end to go to a 4-2-3-1 shape. as he looks to get back from 5-3 down. Gets the ball across. Mertens fires it. And Benji, he was really hopeful and just nothing happened. We lose. So, a mediocre finish. All Benji's fault. We didn't manage to get elite. Anyway, I'm actually off to bed in a sec. Actually, I say that. It's only 6 o'clock. Man's got to survive. Anyway, chaps and chappets. I'll see you in a GIF.